Hello and welcome to another edition of the Eternal Journey and the Resolves, and finally it's here, set 4. So what more do we do than kick it off with a little bit of mono time, because time really got a booster shot in the arm this time around, and we've got some juicy meatballs. So first off, the new edition of the Teacher of Humility. It's kind of been pretty impressed with, especially on the play. Just having like some more early games, pretty great, and I think this card's also pretty good in Praxis as well as Xenan, because even though you do pick apart the controlled matchups with Xenan, being able to Dark Return this back and just keep getting those disciplinary weights is just going to be absurd in some matchups. But also when you get to hit your opponent with this, it does smooth out your draw a little bit. You both do draw a card, but your opponent's card is going to cost 3 more because of the disciplinary weights. But there are a lot more effects that actually draw a card than you might think what this actually hits. So if you're trying to do anything with Onyx Katana or Dark Return, then that'll also get hit, and that's a nice gun fanatic you've got there, friend, when each of your cards is going to cost 3 more. But overall, Teacher of Humility is just like a beefy body. It's really good and aggressive, and it's going to perhaps force our opponent to use removal, which is just going to soften them up and allow our big fights to stick around. It's got the Aurelian Merchant, and I think this is perhaps one of the best merchants. And in here, this is just a 1/4, which is a reasonable body, and it gives us +1 maximum power, but when someone gets to choose a card from hand, we get to swap it with a time card in the market. And what are we in the market for? Well, I decided on a couple of cheap answers. So we've got Twilight Hunt, which is just like we're able to play the merchant, grab a Twilight Hunt, and then perhaps just kill something down that would be a threat. Nightfall as well is pretty nice, because if you do have a weights on the opponent from the Teacher of Humility, then the card that they draw is going to cost more. But for the most part, I just felt like this was better than Predatory Instinct, just because the Nightfall effect does mean that we can kill some weapons like Auric Runehammer and Last Word. Next we've got the Infinite Hourglass, just because it's going to give our units endurance, which means that like if we are in a racing situation, because our units are generally so huge, it's going to be very hard for our opponent to crack us back, as well as the main reason I've got this is just to give us an immunity to Permafrost, or any sorts of effects like Eye of Winter. But honestly, just having access to this is pretty sweet. Perhaps an argument for putting the Sandstorm Titan Scarf in here, just to stop our opponent from being able to have relevant flyers, and maybe if we play against a bunch of TJP, that's what we'll do. But for now, the rest of the things are just the Xenan Obelisk, which is just the ability to have Xenan Obelisk and also be able to get closer to the 8 or more power, just because we do have Initiates, Trailmaker, and the Aurelian Merchant as well does give you that +1 power. Next we've got the Predatory Carnosaur, just because this guy, takes a bite out of crime. And I had a game earlier today where I took this out of the market when I had the Alhed in play and just got a 12/12 killer, and that was delicious. And then even though we do seem to do fine against controllers, because we do have cards like Dawnwalkers and the Thundering Kerasaur, just be able to actually grind your opponent out, especially like the mid-range matchups where it's very difficult to actually get through, then I feel like just sitting there, just keep playing power, turn this guy into just a huge threat, just keep drawing 2 cards a turn. It's going to be pretty delicious, and it's also quite nice with the Worldbearer Behemoth. So we do have a ramp suite in the deck here, because we do have the Initiate, the Trailmaker, and the Aurelian Merchant, which are all just going to bump us up in power, which is going to help us to get to the later part of the game where we're just going to be slamming all these haymakers. Like the Alhed is another new card, and this got Inspire, double the attack and health of units you draw. So as most of our units are already bulky, this is just going to be a little bit of a win more, but if we do draw like a 2/8 merchant, then that's still pretty nice. And this Inspire effect still works if you draw something from your market, so that's pretty sweet. We've also got the Ulva, which is pay 4 and put one of your other units on top of your deck to give Alhed its power toughness. This isn't something I've used before, but it could be a way of getting around, say, a Permafrost or some sort of enchantment that's going to stop your unit from attacking. But also some sort of utility in allowing you to reuse something like a Predatory Carnosaur, but I think for the most part we're keeping this because it's the 6/6 for 5, which is a huge body with an Inspire effect that is really relevant in this deck. Next up from the new cards, we do have the Thundering Kerasaur, which is going to just really pick apart Control X, or anyone that's trying to do spells that aren't really doing anything, so just like strategizes and just seek powers and stuff like that, because every time a player plays a spell, the other player draws a card. We're pretty spell light, we're pretty unit heavy. For the most part, our spells are, well, for Xenan Initiation, although we do have 1 more spell on the board, but that's neither here nor there. So hopefully the Thundering Kerasaur turns up, is just like a huge overwhelmed body, and gets to draw like 2 or 3 cards, and our opponent's usually dead by that point. But generally, Mono Time is just the deck of the big fat men's, and always quite partial to this deck. If ever you're trying to struggle to get yourself into Masters, this is usually a good place to start off with. So let's go on those games. Might do 5, I'm not sure. I'm trying to get a couple of videos done today, so it depends on how quick the games are, but generally this deck is quite quick to go off, so let's get into one. Okay, so we don't have like kind of 1 power ramp spells here, but we can make a 4 on 3, which is pretty nice, though we are on a draw here. So I think maybe that's a little bit too slow, although we do get to go ham here, just like Venom Rider into the Alhed, could be pretty sweet. Though I think this is actually just a redraw. This isn't exactly bad, but I do really just like having the Initiate on 1. And actually, because of the hand we've got here, we are playing against a Skycrag base deck here. I'll probably just like goes to their turn and torches our Initiate the Sands. We're sort of fine with this because we do have the Teacher of Humility to back up. And yep, so this is great. Our opponents used the torch in our Initiate, and now we get to play the Teacher of Humility. And there's a good chance here that this just survives and gets to hit our opponent. So if this is like a... Okay, well the actual trigger off this isn't going to be too effective here, because this looks like it's actually just Skycrag aggro. But we've got to draw a card here, but ours is going to be a reasonable cost, so get to get the Z initiation out, which is going to be pretty nice next turn with this Dawnwalker. I think because we've just got millions of powers, let's take a look at the market, see what we could get. I think the Infinite Hourglass might be a good shout, especially because it does make our Dawnwalkers like really good as well. As well as just turning off our opponent's ability to use the Cinder Yeti, and also any Permafrost, which is going to be their best way of interacting with us. Next up we do go to 5 power, so we're probably just going to Dawnwalker plus Initiation. Okay, so we're playing against actual Yetis here, so that explains like the slightly slow draw that our opponent had. But it looks like we're pretty well set up to deal with a bunch of the nonsense that they'd be getting up to. Because if they want to do something like Crunch, which is going to draw them 2 cards, or the Slope Sergeant, they're going to be pretty good shape because now they've got the weights on them, so it's going to cost more. And it's just going to slow them down a bunch. Perhaps now I'm feeling like we should have just got an actual threat from the yard. Although now if we get to play something a bit on the fat side, we'll be able to get this back and use it instantly. And now just get to swing with everything and hold everything back. And put us in some rough shape here. As soon as we draw a fatty, and of course time decks are really good at getting the Dawnwalker back. And here we'll see, our opponent is probably going to be discarding the 2 cards that they draw off this. And they're just playing it as like a big man. So there you go, a 6 cost Yeti Furflinger, no thank you. Well, I think I might just actually make the Venom Rider here just to get rid of the 5/5. I think I probably could have a torch here. In which case we'll just attack for the 2 here. Okay, so they don't. So off of the trade, which is sort of fine because I feel like our opponent's Wump is of more value to them, especially because they do have cards like the Fudrock Artificer in their deck. Yeah, using the Island's Intervention defensively is sort of fine by me. Yes, here's a Fudrock, so they're going to get to make a little snowman. There could be an argument there just for keeping the... This is sort of a bad attack here with the 3/3 because we don't get to trade with the snowman. Well, at least if we do tidy up our opponent's board a little bit, then worry about anything. So I should have kept the 3/3 rider back just because we could have made the actual venomous unit next turn. I think at 8 power I'm sort of fine. Don't want to let our opponent get one of the snowmen here. Just prevent it for a turn. Just try and draw a fire and get the Dawnwalker back. Okay, so yeah, Furfling is perfect. Now it gets to draw 2 cards. I know it's sort of got to have it all, because we've got to play Carnosaur here, which is going to pop back our Dawnwalker. Dawnwalker does appear exhausted, so perhaps it's not as good a combo as I thought it was with Infinite Hourglass, although it is going to be a good blocker. So I suppose we just... What do we kill here? If we kill Wump, it stops a lot of nonsense. And then we get to have these two good blockers back. Yeah, I think this is perhaps better. And I'll get to still use the Dawnwalker as a removal spell here, because it's either going to block something like the 5-4 here, or it's just going to wait until our turn and then it's going to kill something and then get it back again with the Thundering Kerasaur, which is pretty delicious here, but I will just be killing the Fudroid just because it's big. My opponent could have a Al's Intervention again, which is a reason perhaps to play the Thundering Kerasaur and 4-cost Torch. Yep, you're more than welcome to it. So attack with the Predatory Carnosaur, just try and get in damage here, but for the most part, I just have to gang block. I suppose we'll just kill the 5-4 just because it's a bit more of a threat. Our opponent can spend their entire next turn, turn our Kerasaur into a 2-2 squirrel, but it doesn't seem to be a great use of power there, because then we just have like lethal in play with the Dawnwalker on a 2-1 and then the 2-2 flyer. So I did make a couple of mistakes there. Perhaps should have played the Kerasaur before I used the killer, just to draw the card, but I did want to use it just to get the Dawnwalker back. Okay, with no ramp effects until 3, this hand could be a little bit too slow, especially as well on the draw. Just try and redraw and get something nice like, yep, turn 1 initiate's great. Probably going to wait and see how a hand develops before I decide whether I play the Depleted Monument next turn, but for the most part, probably just going to slam a Dawnwalker on 2 because it's a pretty potent threat to get down as early as possible. I know I've drawn an additional power. I am probably going to try and hold out to turn this Amber Monument into an actual threat. I did miss a point there just by talking, but that will teach me. Although, if I probably play Xenan, probably a spell-based deck, so I think I will play the Amber Monument. Just because this way it means that we're sort of guaranteed to play the Thundering Kerasaur. Opponent shouldn't have any sort of board wipes, but they will have sort of spells. Well, happy just to throw the Dawnwalkers in because I really can't block. We're on mono-time deck, which means that on curve we just get back the Dawnwalkers pretty much every time. I just slam here, just get the power out. A bit of value, gain some lives. Let's play the Big Daddy. It just seems really easy just to be able to overwhelm your opponent here. Yeah, I guess these games are pretty quick, so you said fire-based aggro was the quickest games to play. Okay, round the play. It's a pretty nice hand on the player, just like any hand with Teacher of Humility. Even though the rest hand doesn't really come together, like it's very likely she'll just get in there, draw us a card, and that'll just help us to smooth our draw out a little bit. We'll find us a power, I'll find us some sort of ramp piece. We're getting a Stone Scar. Now we've got backup Teacher of Humility, so nice quarries, friend. I mean, we've not got in there yet, but with 2 copies of this, I'm pretty sort of happy that might happen. What, 3 copies? Okay. Opponent is the only Ronin deck here, but I'm more than happy just to get on the aggressive because 3 is bigger than 2, and the opponent is a beatdown deck. If we can just turn it around on them, then it's going to be pretty good for us. I'm not blocking here. Like that's some sort of trick that I'm not interested in. Okay, assembly line. Yeah, it's pretty good. If we attack here, we're supposed to just trade all 3. Okay, so I'll just trade the 1, that's fine. We'll play the Dawnwalker here just to use our power. And because I don't mind trading the Dawnwalker for combat trick, so if this only one tries getting in again, then we'll just block him. If this is Rapid Shot, then that's fine. We saved 6 lives. And if I was actually just trading cards, that's great for us. Okay, so it makes sense now. The they were just going to do this to get it back. So it's now at the point where we do need to be a little bit more defensive here. And I'm sort of fine to trade off the Initiate of the Sands here. Right, so this guy opponent is trying to set up here just for some huge queen. Yep, show me a trick. Yeah, so Rapid Shot, got rid of the last spell. They do have a lot more of a board than us, but let's get the Xenan Obelisk down. We need to ideally start hitting our power drops just so we can actually get the Worldbearer Behemoth down. I've also just like ripped the. If they've actually just ripped a rally here, then we are dead. Yeah, so rally was good. Yeah, we don't have a board, so I think we, even though we are dead, it's time to scoop up and move on. Okay, here we are on the job. We've only got one ramp piece though, and a bunch of like 5s and 6s, so I think we do redraw this. And this is sort of fine. We've got like a 4-power hand, which means that we're sort of guaranteed to get our Dawnwalkers back. The 5th power is not perfect, but it means that we're able to curve up reasonably nicely. If we draw like a 4, we get to fill in that hole. Okay, that's perfect. So we do take a chunk here upon against the Warcry, but then next time we're just going to go 3, 4, 5, 6, and hopefully that'll be enough. And discard a card to create and draw 2. Well, not seeing this card. These cost 1 as well. Wow. So that seems pretty sweet. They're going to get a good amount of damage in here. But fortunately for us, our opponent's units are reckless, and we're just going to play like brick walls into brick walls. But this is a pretty sweet card, especially if you've got anything that does got any Inspire in your deck as well. It's going to be pretty nice. Get these guys flying or something. So we can't actually effectively block the Carnosaur Outlaw anyway, so just block a free one. We do take 5, but then we're just going to play the Titan and just bring back our Dawnwalker. I suppose just keep trying to do this every turn. And you may notice the sound is, maybe you can hear a fan today, but it's in my country it's currently like 31 degrees and none of our buildings are actually built for warmth. They're just all built to insulate heat, so it's absolutely roasting. So I just have like the window open. Okay, so attack with a 3/3, so they must have like a torch. So we block the free one because then at least they use the spell. And we don't just lose our unit to the Finest Tower or the torch or whatever it is. So Finest Tower. But this way at least we do get to trade units there. And 6/6 is good, but I think Behemoth is what I want to be doing here. What we silencing? Yep, silencing the 6/7 is fine. I'm just going to use it as like a wall. And right now we can play a 6 or we can play a 4 and a 2. I'm just going to attack with the Behemoth anyway. So we're going to play a Sandstorm Titan and a Teacher, so we should be pretty well insulated from any sort of crackback. I'm very happy just to trade Dawnwalker for anything. Okay, so is it a Vanquish? Okay, so no Vanquish from the opponent. Yeah, let's play the Kerasaur first. Not play this. Just attack with a 6/7. Now, opponent just has to be honest in the way they deal with it. They can't use any spells because they'll get to draw a card. Okay, so Charging Joe. No spells quite yet. Just attack with these 2 big boys here. I should perhaps be attacking with the Dawnwalker as well. But we are also going to be putting our opponent in quite a dangerous spot next because we are going to play Alhed into Alhed and just going to have some huge units coming off the top. Right, so we've got 6 points worth of damage. So I'll get rid of the 3/3 and the flyer just in case our opponent does deal with our Sandstorm Titan. They're not able to get anywhere with that. Then we've got 8 points of damage and we've got 7. No, okay, we've got millions of points of toughness. So what can we get rid of? I think it's just going to be the 3/3 and the 3/4 here. We never got to live the dream and draw a card off the big monster Kerasaur, but just play the Alhed's going to be pretty sweet. I suppose just get in with everyone, just like taste it. Well, this card's sweet. It's got a pretty nice voiceover line. Yeah, so we've managed to just crumble our opponent's head just with this mono time deck. Hoping our opponent's not just like got harsh rule here, but yeah. Scoop up, go on to the next game. Okay, I'm going to play again here. And it's got 4 power, like fighters, so I still want to keep it, but we can actually do better on our play hands. This is one of those better ones actually. I think we'll just lead on time sigils because we do have like a card draw here, not guaranteed, but we do also have the Trailmaker to plus as a power. So I just want to have full information before I decide what to do with these Hamper Monuments. Because if it looks like we've just got like 5 power from actual sigils and ramp effects, then I'd sort of much rather just have them as threats. And our deck is by no means threat-like, but just don't want to flood it ever. Right. Yep, Kitty strategizes in now, friend, because they're going to be pretty gross next turn. Okay, so we could get Hailstormed here, which is actually sort of fine because then we get to follow with like Venom Rider into Worldbearer Behemoth. At some point we perhaps could have actually got away with playing an Amber Monument here. But just have it get full value, because like, as soon as this gets down, then these monuments are just going to turn into threats anyway. Well, of course, because we've got the 5th power, but if our opponent then deals with our ramp effects, like the Trailmakers or whatever initiative sounds we've got in play, then this attacking is going to be able to enable us to get the extra power anyway. So the Rail Merchant here is not super effective. They could have just fetched up a Disjunction or something. I'm sort of tempted like just to play the Obelisk attack, but I think I'm just going to Behemoth here. Get some fat men's into play. Just keep developing our board. But whatever our opponent drew from the Royal Merchant is going to cost 3 more. So if it is like a destruction to get rid of this, that's going to be an expensive boy. And so opponent needs to find 7 points of attack here. They've just not got it. So you get to attack for free with the Behemoth. So gain some lives as well. She's tasty, and then I suppose we'll just play a Rhinac. Rhinac plus Teacher gets to block, and yep, the Echo card there is not really great for you. Yeah, so the Disciplinary Weights get to pull some work against those matchups, because I assume our opponents play that sort of Elysian mid-rangey control deck, and they needed to actually use stuff like Echo and Strategize just to be able to pull them ahead and be able to take control of the game. Okay, so that was mono time, and it's still a spicy meatball. It's got a bunch of heavy hitters, and it's sort of interesting to me that like the mono faction deck is actually one of the most expensive decks to build, just because it is basically mono legendaries. But if you've got the dust give it a craft and just give it a try. But there are some pieces you can move, like you can feel free just to change Teacher of Humility, just try out some Sand Warriors if you want that free effect. But I think the best part of this is just that you can actually get the Infiltrate trigger, which is pretty sweet, especially in multiples. Those disciplinary weights are going to do some work. But other than that, the deck sweep didn't really get to see too much of the market, although the Infinite Hourglass was definitely able to swing us that game. But yeah, really impressed with the new set, especially the market mechanics is going to be making a lot more dynamic games. It's going to make people feel a lot less like they're flooding, because you do get to turn those extra powers that they've got into extra cards, and if they are actually flooding, they get to go and dig up a Mystic Ascendant. And yeah, this new set sweet. Thanks for watching. I've been that results. I'll see you around.